Texans training camp day 2 is in the books. Plenty to talk about, lots to get to, including an absence at linebacker makes it oh so intriguing of a position to think about and talk about for this Texans team. Special teams madness, I'm telling you, madness. And I'm not talking about the macho madness. Oh, yeah. And 2 new players on the Texans with sky-high confidence that has me so pumped for when the season gets here. It can't get here fast enough. You can't get in here fast enough. In the comment section down below, if you're not watching this live, appreciate you watching. However you are watching, get your comments in the comment section. Super chats go to the top of the line. We'll get to everything that you guys ask here in the comment section. All of it. We will get to all of it here. So get through some of these conversation points, answer all your questions, talk about Texans training camp day 2, which is in the books. Absence creates intrigue at linebacker. So let me start with a conversation about the linebackers. It's supposed to be Azeez Al-Shaair and Christian Harris as the dynamic duo at linebacker, and Azeez Al-Shaair has been as advertised through 2 practices. I mean, he looked good in the minicamp and the OTAs. The team talks glowingly about him, and Nick Caserio and DeMeco Ryans talk about how important he is, and DeMeco Ryans has talked about how he's going to kind of make sure everybody is set up and where they need to be with this defense, because he played for DeMeco Ryans, knows how the defense is supposed to operate and supposed to look. Azeez Al-Shaair as advertised today in 7-on-7. Now again, 7-on-7 is super offense heavy. Like it favors the offense. Unless you're a freak athlete like Azeez Al-Shaair. We know he's going to be a line of scrimmage demon. He had a ton of tackles last year, 5th in the league. He had a bunch of tackles within the first couple of yards or behind the line of scrimmage. So we know he's going to do that. I didn't know he could do this. Noah Brown takes off, and Brown's running. And it's a play where CJ kind of scans the field a little bit, and Stroud's looking for his guy, and he kind of comes back to Noah as the play is happening. And Brown makes a cut. Al-Shaair is step for step with him, and CJ would have had to throw a perfect pass. There was another defender closing. He throws it too long. But Al-Shaair was step for step in coverage with Noah Brown, and I was like, oh, okay, I apologize, Azeez Al-Shaair. I was unfamiliar with your game. I thought he was going to be a line of scrimmage only linebacker, and the coverage numbers from Pro Football Focus weren't amazing last year, but going toe-to-toe with Noah Brown down the field, and I'm not talking like 5-10 yards down the field. I'm talking like way down the field. That was an eye-opening moment for Azeez Al-Shaair. Now, I haven't talked about Christian Harris, and the reason I haven't talked about Christian Harris is Christian Harris hasn't been on the field. He hasn't practiced the first 2 days. Now, Aaron Wilson's saying it's nothing too serious. He should be back out there. He's not on the PUP list, physically unable to perform list. So he's active. I would think that he's pretty close to getting back and getting on the field for this Texans team. With Harris's absence, Jake Hansen has taken the snaps that I would have assigned to Christian Harris. And Hansen, if you don't know who he is, he's been a backup player on the Texans for a couple of years now. We've been trying to cut Jake Hansen for 2 seasons. I mean, as an undrafted free agent linebacker, he ended up making the team with Lovie Smith. Last year, he hangs around. He's still on the team. A little bit of special teams help, a little bit of, backup linebacker help. And Hansen was running around, looked spry, fast. He was in coverage. He was showcasing those coverage skills for a smaller linebacker, and he looked really good out there on the field. And then Henry To'oTo'o was on the field as well. And To'oTo'o had a really nice play the first day where he kind of made Dalton Schultz choose on a block. Schultz picked wrong. To'oTo'o darted into the backfield for a tackle for a loss, but he was running around. He looked good in the practice as well. So without Christian Harris there, a little bit of a boost, a little bit of an extra positive for Jake Hansen and Henry To'oTo'o. Now, they're not making the team instead of Harris or anything, but it gives them some real important and good reps with some other players you would consider starters that helps them stick around in the linebacker room, because they are loaded with options at linebacker. I don't know if they're loaded with talent, but they're loaded with options. Obviously, Azeez Al-Shaair and Christian Harris to start, Hansen and Henry To'oTo'o, but you've got Jacob Phillips, Delshawn Phillips, Jamal Hill, the rookie, Max Tooley, the undrafted free agent, Tariq Barnes, the undrafted free agent, Neville Hewitt, the tackling machine. There's a lot of options there at linebacker, and they can only keep a few. I would think they probably keep 5. So, 2 spots are accounted for. So 3 spots need to get spoken for. I tell you, Neville Hewitt's got an inside track because of special teams usefulness to one of those spots. So there's really only 2 spots open. And if Christian Harris is missing and Hanson's looking good and Henry To'o is looking good and their opportunities, that helps them make the team. Now, I'm not worried about Hanson long-term. I am maybe still worried about the depth, though, again, in one practice here. To'o and Hanson looked pretty solid. Jacob Phillips, who wears number 22, if you get to go out to practice and you see next week and you see the guy run around 22 with the linebackers, don't be worried. A defensive back did not get lost on his way to the huddle. 22, Jacob Phillips, Davis Mills threw him the football today. Like, it was as if Davis Mills thought Jacob Phillips was his wide receiver. He threw it to him, and it just right out of his hands. And he put his hands on his head. I felt bad for him. But it was about as easy of a play as you could have made, and Phillips just kind of threw his hands up. This is a guy that has been injured a lot in his career, didn't play at all last year for the Cleveland Browns, and he's got a long road to get into the conversation and make something happen at that linebacker spot. Max Tooley had a couple of nice plays. Undrafted free agent from BYU, a little bit of an older player. I believe he's going to be 25 this year if he's not already 25. And Tooley played a lot of football at BYU, and he had some good coverage moments at BYU. Had a couple of interceptions, had some go back for touchdowns as well. So Tooley showcased a little bit of his athleticism today. He, ripped off of a block and was able to kind of get in there and mix it up for what would have been the tackle. And then what I thought was really fun, a play got kind of, dumped over to the left side from Davis Mills to Cade Stover, and Tooley was closing like a heat-seeking missile. I mean, he was headed right for him. Ultimately, you get a little two-hand touch, but in pads, that would have been the hit of the day. That would have been the contact, the thud, the hit of the day. Tooley versus Cade Stover. So a lot of options at linebacker. Less Harris right now means more Hanson and To'o and better reps for them and more reps for them, which helps them stick around in this heavily contested linebacker situation. So that's the linebacker situation from the second practice. Almost said Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. It's Friday. My days of the week are absolutely jacked, though. I thought yesterday was Monday. So that's the practice number 2 linebacker report. And they're kind of the ones that jumped off the page as far as practice goes for this practice. So that's where you got to pay a little extra attention going forward. I know we're concerned about the DBs. We like the defensive line, but a couple extra seconds, a little bit extra eyeballs on the linebackers going forward is something that I need to put a little bit of time into. We'll get to your comments and questions, and we'll get to all of them. I promise. You will get all that you need from a furniture store if you visit my friends at Urban Furniture and Decor. 7909 Hillcroft is the wonderful, beautiful showroom that they have. You can check out all the furniture at urbanfurnituredecor.com. That 4th of July sale is still going on where you get up to 60% off. Look at this gorgeous furniture, well-made, traditional, modern, American, Italian, Turkish furniture. I mean, stuff that you didn't even know would look amazing in your home. They've got it at Urban Furniture and Decor. Luxury meets affordability. It's the best local prices in town. Just check out the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com. The link's in the description down below. You can go on the website, click through everything. Gentlemen, send it to your lady. Let her redo the entire room. She'll probably send you over there with the card, exactly what you want, what you need. They will take care of you. Deliver it, get it set up. And this furniture is gorgeous, and the price, you can't beat it. Urban Furniture and Decor, appreciate them supporting the channel, so please go and support them as well. Let's get to a couple of comments here, and then we'll talk about the kickoff situation. As always, Super Chats go to the front of the line. How do our rookies look in 7-on-7 drills? Kamari Lassiter, no standouts today. Well, got beat a little bit yesterday, but nothing standing out today from Kamari Lassiter. Nothing bad from Blake Fisher at the offensive tackle spot. Kalen Bullock had a really nice play where he was maybe a second late on when he was supposed to go, but he came firing in for the safety spot on like a blitz. And if he was timed it up just a little bit better and it was full contact, I think that quarterback was going to have a pretty rough day. Nothing to really note from Stover or Jamal Hill. Jawar Jordan, we'll talk about him when we get to the kickoff conversation here in just a second. I am excited to see Marcus Harris. He kind of he stands out from a width standpoint, not a height standpoint. He stands out from a width standpoint. He looks weird because he plays defensive tackle and he wears number 59, which is, obviously a linebacker numbers, but hey, Marcus Harris is a player I'm really excited to see when the pads get on. And Solomon Byrd, saw him chasing some stuff down. Didn't see him make a play. He had a tackle for a loss in the first one. So, Chris, appreciate the super chat. It's a great way to get yourself to the front of the line. So, let's go through some of the comments and we'll talk about special teams. Nate, good to see you. Raul, Tyler. Gage says it. Swarm the like button. It's down below. It's the little thumbs up icon. You'll love it. Juan, appreciate you. Branson, good to see you. Spooky Scoobs, thank you for joining in. Texan J, hey, Cody, it was Lopez that said Aziz got 2 interceptions and in the loop. Not CJ, not 11-11. Yeah, there were no interceptions today. So anybody that said there were multiple interceptions or Aziz Al-Shire had interceptions, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Lassiter looking good so far. Not looking good, but not looking bad. And I would say the same thing about CJ Henderson, and I would say the same thing about Jeff Okudah. Okudah had a bad moment yesterday. He had a much better one today. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Heard Aziz got a pick at practice. Not true. Did not happen. Jose's watching all the way from New York. Good to see you, Socrates. Raul, appreciate you. Yeah, Hall of Fame game right around the corner. Stream started at 4:20. Why didn't you invite Landry? That's his favorite time of day. No comment on that one. Is CJ mainly taking checkdowns, or is it a healthy balance of short throws, airing it out? CJ's hitting the open guy. So sometimes it's a little dump down because guys are initially covered on the first reads. He's not afraid to line it up and send one down the field, though. He's not shying away from the deep ball. He said after the first practice, I want to throw the deep ball better and I want to throw it more. And he's not shying away from it, okay? He's, putting it down the sideline. Now, they've had some trouble in teams getting things going the way that they want. The defense has looked much better in teams. 7-on-7, I still go slight edge to the offense. But on teams, it's been defense heavy from the edge standpoint. The Rhino weighs in. Crazy excited about camp. And thank you and Landry for holding us down during the dry season. Here's money. DeRhino, I appreciate you, man. You're a fantastic supporter of the channel. You're always here with the super chat, so thank you. Landry had his breakdown of training camp from earlier today. If you missed that, check that out after this video. And DeRhino, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, going to put a pin in the comments right here because Cody actually leads me into – Cody, of course, has the best name in all the chat here. He leads me into my next conversation. He asks, are you excited about the kickoff? I am. That was my number one takeaway today. When I wrote over at Houston Football today, again, you can subscribe to the subscribe at Houston Football, $7 a month, get you breakdowns of every training camp, get you everything through the season, the exclusive coverage of the combine, the owners' meetings, and the Senior Bowl, all that great stuff, okay? Get you all that, $7 a month. I'll make it worth your while. That was the first thing I started with. Special teams is a much bigger deal this year. It's not punts, it's not punt return, it's not field goals, it's kickoffs. They've changed kickoffs, and watching them practice kickoffs, and they weren't going full speed, they didn't have pads on, but watching them practice kickoffs, it's chaos. It is absolute chaos on special teams. I have madness right here. That probably doesn't do it justice. It is chaos. There are some plays where guys have a clear hole and they're darting down the field. There are some plays where it looks like it's a punt that, you get a couple of yards and you get tackled. And there are some plays where the guy fields the ball and guys are already on him and you're starting from the 12-yard line. There's a lot of variability to the special teams right now. And as far as guys that they're going to use to return the ball on special teams, they've got a ton of options. I'm going to read them here as I wrote them down as they did. These are the players that did some level of special teams drills, okay? Steven Sims, Damian Pierce, Robert Woods, Tank Dell, okay? Nico Collins, okay? Gerard Jordan, Desmond King, Miles Bryant, J.J. Taylor, and John Mechie. They did some level of special teams drills. Now, what was the drill? The drill that was kind of like, I call it the Little League grounders. Basically, they had coaches with the football. They'd throw it really hard into the ground, and the ball would bounce all over the place, and the player had to go and field it cleanly and take off. Now, there were a couple of players, Nico did not do this, where they were catching kickoffs in a sort of a two-man alignment. So with that, I do wonder if maybe Nico's an emergency guy or only kind of sometimes guy, but Tank was doing a lot of it. Tank Dell is a factor in the special teams return game, both punts and kickoffs. I know that sounds scary. Tank Dell doesn't care. He said, I'm ready. I asked him, hey, what do you think about playing special teams? What do you think about the kickoffs? He's like, I like the old kickoff rule. I said, are you ready for the additional special teams work on top of your wide receiver stuff? I said, yeah, I'm ready. Of course I'm ready. So if he's got to play special teams and D'Amico Ryan said they want explosive plays out of special teams, he's got to do it. They're going to play Tank Dell on special teams. If Nico Collins has to do it, they're going to do that. But the hope is a Desmond King or a Jawar Jordan or a Steven Sims could give you that consistent explosive play ability, and you won't have to use Tank Dell or Nico Collins or somebody of that nature. But watching them practice it was interesting. The returners. Then they had like another level where the two offensive and defensive, or the coverage lines and the blocking lines kind of lined up across from each other, and they practiced there. And then there was a lot of practice even behind the kicking of guys, getting off of blocks and heading down the field. And then when they actually ran it, again, not full speed and not in pads, it was chaotic. It was madness. And I really enjoyed watching it. I am very excited about the kickoff now. It is no longer a part of the commercial break. It is no longer a part of your pee break that you take in the middle of the game. Like, don't worry, I can take a little extra time. I'll stop, get me another beverage. I'll pet the dog. Like, you don't have time for that anymore. The kickoff is going to be, it feels to me, like a must-see portion of the game, like most everything else is. There's going to be some wild moments via the kickoff. Going to be some wild moments via the kickoff, and I cannot freaking wait to see what Frank Ross styles up, because that guy's one of the best special teams coaches in all of football, and if there's something to exploit, Frank Ross is going to exploit. So there's your special teams madness update. Couple more comments here. All right. Juan says Jake Hansen owns Derrick Henry. Yeah, he had a couple of nice moments against King Henry. Super chat here from Socrates. Native Houstonian checking in from Ohio. Appreciate you, Stoots. You keep me connected to my Texans. How's our secondary looking versus Colts, Jags wide receivers? I'm not super worried about the Jags. And thank you for the super chat, Socrates. I'm not super worried about the Jags because it's Christian Kirk, it's Brian Thomas, he's a rookie, and it's Gabe Davis. They've all been number twos in their career. Nobody's a true number one in Jacksonville. And I don't know if anybody's going to establish themselves as a true number one in Jacksonville. So I'm not worried as much about them as I am the Colts. So Michael Pittman's a really nice player. He should be better with the other wide receivers and the rushing attack being better in Indianapolis. So Pittman gets better. Alec Pierce is their deep threat guy. Downs was not bad last year, and they added Adonai Mitchell, who was one of my favorite wide receivers in the entire draft. Landry says he's the second best wide receiver in this rookie class. I don't know that I'd go that far, but Adonai Mitchell is a really, really good player. He's going to have an immediate impact for Indianapolis. And look, I don't worry about who Stingley's defending. I'll worry a little bit about Kamari Lassiter or CJ Henderson or Jeff Okuda. And then in the slot, you just got to trust that Desmond King and the rest of the defense is going to do their job. And if that pass rush is getting home, It's going to be a little bit easier to defend everybody. Socrates, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. And of course, as you know, the super chats go to the front of the line. Real Marcus West, how accurate does CJ look? I heard that he missed a long throw yesterday. Then I heard he missed a long throw today. He did, but he missed it because it was good coverage. Like he made a business decision to give his receiver like a very tiny, minute chance to get it, and not give the defenders any chance to go and get it. And there's been a couple of moments for CJ where he's been a little frustrated. Today, they finished up a group session. He took off on a scramble, and I don't know that he got the first down. I feel like that's what he was upset about. And he was mad. He's walking back to the huddle and kicked the football and went over to the wide receivers and immediately started talking to them. And I was just like, okay, he's not pleased. And that's something that the Texans talked about at the end of last year and then even in minicamp and OTAs. He takes control and wants practice to be even better, wants to really dial in on practice and make sure everybody's taking care of their business in practice. And I can imagine that was one of those moments for CJ Stroud and for the rest of the team. Like, hey, we're not getting this done on group, And what annoys them a lot, they don't get multiple chances. When they go to group two or team two, excuse me, when they go to team two, you get 3 downs. And if you keep going, you keep going. And if you don't keep going, you get off the field and the second team comes on. And those guys don't want to leave the field. Frank Z says, what's up? Ex-Colts lineman Chris Reed. How's he looking? Nothing to note from him yet. Am intrigued to find out a little bit more about Reed. He played for offensive line coach Chris Strausser when Reed was on the Colts and Strausser was the offensive line coach. So something to pay attention to there. I will say Kenyon Green, again, stands out amongst interior offensive linemen. He looked very good. Esco's in here. Appreciate you. Zach Rose, after Will Anderson putting on the extra weight, is he still getting off the same or is he a bit slower? Speed's still there. Ain't worried about Will. Speed is still there. He teleported to the quarterback basically yesterday. I mean, Blake Fisher was doing everything he could to keep up with Will Anderson, and Anderson kind of ran him behind the quarterback, forcing C.J. Stroud to step up, and right side of the line was collapsing in on him. So it was good. Alex says, Texans are the favorite to win conference and favorite to win the Super Bowl. It's time for D'Amico and C.J. Stroud, Nico Collins, Will Anderson, the two defense, offense, explosive. I bet Texans win the Super Bowl this year. Well, they're not the favorites, so you're getting good odds. I think I saw 5th, 6th in the AFC, 8th, 9th overall. So you're getting good odds there. Good luck to you, Alex. We'll all be very happy if that's the case. I heard Laster got worked by Bobby Tree, supposedly 3+ yards of separation. Did you see that? Should we be worried about it? Don't be worried about one mistake or one day in practice. Be worried about those days stacking up. If Kamari Lassiter's getting burned on a regular basis, especially by Robert Woods, then you can get worried. But I'm not worried about it right now. John Ryan says, Cody, you looking savage. Am I? Looking real savage, huh? Macho man, always looking savage. Branson, when do they get pads on? I'm assuming is what you mean. Next week. I feel like the first open practice to the fans is going to be the first padded practice. Have you seen the Nico Autry lining up more at end or tackle? End. If our defense is able to lock down our offense, we might go undefeated this year. Look, I'm okay with the defense being a little bit ahead. The offense will catch up. Okay, the offense will catch up. John says, tired of people saying we aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year. My vision told me otherwise. I hope your vision comes true. Jim says, I think teams will kick the ball into the end zone for a touchback. Let the offense start at the 30. And I talked about this with Landry, Locker, and Sean Pendergast as practice was getting going. I don't believe teams are going to do this, Jim. And the reason I don't is these coaches are maniacs, and they burn a timeout over 5 yards on an almost delay a game. So they're not just going to freely give up 5 yards, especially if they have the little bit of a gamble of pinning a team deep, behind the 20 or, behind the 10, my goodness. I would be very interested to know the percentage of touchdown drives that occur from basically every 5 yards or so. I have to imagine that the majority of the low percentage drives start, 20 and backwards. So I don't think teams are giving up the free yards. Jake asks, is there training camp tomorrow? There absolutely is. There absolutely is. Raul says Texans Colts week 1 is going to be insane. That's an understatement. It's going to be madness week 1. That's going to be great, especially because the Colts been chirping this offseason. Texans 22, haven't heard much about Xavier Hutchinson. Anything stand out for him? Hutchinson, so John Mechie had a really nice catch today over the middle. And I don't remember who was defending Mechie, but he had a nice catch over the middle. And then as I kind of watched the play, finish, Xavier Hutchinson was flying past his guy. So the quarterback had already made the decision, but Hutchinson was going to be open by 5-6 yards from his defender. And he hasn't made like a play where you're just like, woo, look at that. But he hasn't looked bad at all. He had a nice catch the first day, but not a ton to report on him. Really looking forward to rookie play versus Bears in 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be a fun one. There are going to be a lot of rookies and a lot of backups playing in that matchup in the Hall of Fame game. Rick says, heard a rumor Justin Simmons had a visit today. I have not seen that. My official visit person is Aaron Wilson, so if Aaron didn't report it, then I don't think it happened. Oh, God, Aaron's he's out here firing through everybody else's workouts. Yeah, he said that they worked out a couple of running backs, but nothing. I haven't seen anything on a Justin Simmons workout. And I know Charles Robinson connected them to Simmons and said, oh, they should sign him, but that's not. I don't believe they're going to do that. If they wanted Justin Simmons, I feel like he'd be here by now. What do you make of special teams unit in context of the new kickoff rules? I do not have enough information to give you feedback because I can't figure out who is doing coverage, who's doing the blocking. Is it going to change? Is it changing play to play? Like Jalen Petrie was out there covering a kick. Cade Stover was out there covering a kick. Like I can't figure out who's doing what just yet to kind of give you a real good assessment on this just yet. Brandon says if there's a team to take a discount, Justin Simmons would make it the Texans. Maybe. I didn't feel like he's looking for a discount. It looks like he's looking for money and opportunity. I don't know. There's opportunity on the Texans right now. Kevin asks, Davis Mills is out. If he's out because of a trade. He's not going to get cut. They wouldn't cut Davis Mills. He'd be out because of a trade. So I'm not super worried about Mills' status on this team. I actually believe that Mills is going to be the backup this year. I believe he's going to start. If CJ Stroud has to start. If you heard a little background noise, it's me pulling up something I want to show off here. So forgive me for that. Mills is not getting cut. If he leaves, it'll be via trade. Okay. Keep getting your questions in. I want to show you guys one thing that I worked on with a new friend of mine. He's actually, new this year around everything. But it is a video that I did with my buddy Will Kunkel and DJ Bienemy of ESPN 97.5. It's called Kicking It with Kunkel. Will is the sports guy over at Fox 26. He replaced Mark Berman. And we did a real cool video here. DJ, myself, Will, and his very cool, nice studio with his cool logo. So this is on YouTube. I'm going to put this in the description of the video. I should have put it in before we got started. But make sure to check this out after this video as well. So I wanted to get that in there. Keep sending in your questions. Super chats will go to the front of the line. I want to talk about extreme confidence from two super important players on the Houston Texans. There are two guys that have just an absolutely incredible and extreme level of confidence in themselves and in their ability to improve on what they accomplished last year. And I'll start with Joe Mixon. I have said for all of the offseason, Joe Mixon has juggernaut potential, okay? He has the chance to be as good as just about any Texans running back has been for a single season. Now, I don't know what his long-term potential is, but Juggernaut Joe is a possibility this year. He's still productive. He's playing with a much better offensive line than what he played with in Cincinnati. He's playing on an offense that should open things up more for him than in Cincinnati. And he's playing with the best defense that he's played with in recent memory. So Mixon has the potential to have a monster season. I'm drafting him as many times as I can in fantasy football. And then today, when we're talking to him, I asked him, hey, you've been tops and, near the tops in carries in the league 2 times in the past few seasons. Are you prepared to be, that level of back again, to have some of the most carries in the NFL? And he's like, yeah, I am. I put in a lot of work for this. My position and, usefulness in the offense is unique, which I felt like was a really good word to describe how they're going to use him. He said unique. And he said, this is the hardest I've ever worked out in an offseason getting ready for the season. And I was like, okay, it's like, awesome. Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Like, I am excited for that. And it just kind of built on the excitement that I have for Joe Mixon already, who has what I call juggernaut potential here for the 2024 season. Now, flipping it around to the other side of the ball, talking about the extreme confidence, Danielle Hunter. If you've heard me talk about this, we've talked about it on the show. We've mentioned it, played the clip from Matt Burke. They believe in this style of defense, Danielle Hunter could be even better than he was in Minnesota. So I asked Danielle Hunter about that. I said, hey, defense coordinator Matt Burke said there's a chance you're maybe even more productive from a pass rush standpoint in this system. And he's like, yeah, I've played in systems that want me to read the opposing team, read the offense, and make a play there. They don't want me to do that here. And I said, do you like that more? And he's like, yeah. It's like, I just go after the opposing players. And I was like, okay, like and Danielle Hunter is not the most giving person at the podium. I mean, he's business. And he is the epitome of business. Okay. And so he is not the most giving person. So when I asked him and he talked a little bit more about it and how much easier it is to play this style of defense versus some other styles that he's played, he started to crack a smile. And Danielle Hunter doesn't smile at the podium very much. So I feel like I kind of accomplished something with my question and line of questioning to get him there. And then I started thinking, my God, this man was already 5th in sacks with 16.5 last year and tied for the league lead in tackles for a loss. If he gets better, the Texans are going to be fearsome and damn near unstoppable from a pass rush standpoint, because Will Anderson's a nasty monster. And Danielle Hunter, if he's better than last year's Danielle Hunter, if he's maybe the best version of Danielle Hunter to this point in his career, wow, that is a scary thought for opposing offenses, and that is a fun thought for the Houston Texans and their pass rush, because that's going to make, if Hunter and Anderson, along with Autry and Barnett, and Hughes if he makes the team, or Horton if he is able to get back at some point this year, if those ends are taking care of their business, we can lower the concern for defensive tackle. We can lower the concern for cornerback. We can lower the concern for safety. They will make things better and easier when they are out there succeeding from a pass rush standpoint. And Danielle Hunter maybe being better than he was last year, woo, that is a scary proposition. That is a scary proposition. And it gets me very excited for the potential for Danielle Hunter. All business Danielle Hunter. Also, perhaps the most muscular player on the team. I mean, somebody tweeted to me about it. I tweeted out a picture of him, and you could see like the veins on his arm. And someone's like, he has incredible vascularity, which is something you really only hear in bodybuilding competitions. And it's like, he is a monster. And if he's better than last year, he's a legendary monster. And that would be scary for opposing offenses. And I welcome the best version of Danielle Hunter. That would be fantastic to watch each and every Sunday. But there's some Mondays and there's a Thursday and a Wednesday mixed in there, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what you need to mix in? A visit to my friends over at Urban Furniture and Decor. Luxury meets affordability. Okay, some of the finest furniture in town can be found at Urban Furniture and Decor, specializing in Turkish furniture, but they've got Italian, your traditional American, from the bedroom to the bar stools, from the breakfast room to the side tables. They have it all. You want to accent something you've already got, they'll find something beautiful for you. You want to redo the entire room, or my goodness, redo your entire house? This is the place to go. Urban Furniture and Decor, 7909 Hillcroft Street. Okay, 7909 Hillcroft is where you can go see this gorgeous showroom where you can see all this great furniture. UrbanFurnitureDecor.com is where you can also see it, and you'll see the price right there on the website. How many people tell you exactly what you're going to pay right there on the website? Not that many, and the discount for 4th of July is still going on, up to 60% off. I've been looking at a new bed frame myself with my friends at Urban Furniture and Decor, 7909 Hillcroft, UrbanFurnitureDecor.com. Okay, give them a call today or visit the website and really kind of just look, browse, and then head over to the showroom. And look, you don't want to go to the showroom, you find something you like on the internet, they'll just deliver it to your house. And you're saying to yourself, oh, man, Cody, that stuff looks really nice. I wish they delivered to me. And I don't live in Houston. They'll deliver to you. They deliver to the continental United States. You live in Washington or Florida, you live in Maine or down at the bottom of California, they will deliver it to you. You order it right there on the website. They'll take care of you. Urban Furniture Decor. Appreciate them for sponsoring this video. All right, your questions. Q&A time, fire away on the questions. Let's see here. I hope Petrie picks it up this year. This is interesting, and I was talking with Landry about this because Landry and I were standing together, and we noticed that they had sort of a unique defensive alignment. 2 corners, 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 3 safeties. I was like, that's an interesting one. But then I saw what Petrie was doing, and he was kind of acting as a nickel cornerback. And I was like, oh, okay, that's something he's done before. Like, that's something he can do. But him playing closer to the line of scrimmage probably better utilizes his skills. And D'Amico Ryans couldn't play him there last year because of all the damn injuries. And Jimmy Ward's inconsistencies, Eric Murray is lost for the year, MJ Stewart's lost for the year, so you couldn't put Petrie up near the line of scrimmage to attack some slot corner or slot wide receivers, to blitz off the edge and be that rusher that he sometimes has been, that he did pretty well as a rookie. Couldn't do as much of that. You put him in coverage situations, and sometimes he didn't get it done for this team. If they're healthy, I believe Petrie's going to play a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. And I believe that's going to better let him execute as a football player playing closer to the line of scrimmage. Branson says maybe Simmons is doing that vet thing. Wait until the start of the closer of the season. Nick Caserio did bring that up yesterday. He sure did. And in bringing that up, it didn't seem like that was that big of a deal with him as well. So, I mean, that's not something that's going to hurt Justin Simmons. Again, I just feel like if they were going to have Simmons, they'd have Simmons. Brandon asks, Blake Fisher run with the 1s or the 2s? Blake Fisher is Laramie Tunsil right now. Tunsil is still working out on the side. Saw Tunsil running really hard yesterday. Saw him pushing the sled today. He kind of ramps up different than some of those other guys who are on PUP lists, which is Delshawn Phillips, the linebacker, D'Angelo Ross, the cornerback, and then Andrew Beck, the fullback. Beck was, Landry was locked in on him. He said Beck was working his tail off over on the side field. So he feels like Beck's pretty close to coming back. And Andrew Beck needs to get back because Troy Hairston has had a couple of moments where you're like, oh, look, there goes Troy Hairston doing something I didn't know he could do. So blocking on special teams, coverage on special teams. He's faster than I remember. I don't remember Troy Hairston being that fast. You have any idea where Christian Harris is? A little dinged up right now. Not bad enough to put him on the PUP, but he's not healthy enough to be playing right now. So that's where Christian Harris is right now. I would think that he's back pretty soon. Valerius 1258. How is Dameon Pierce looking so far? Do you think our run game is ready for the jump it sore needs? It is, because Mixon, a healthy offensive line, and Slowick with Mixon to utilize should make it better. But Pierce, the big thing for me with Dameon Pierce each day at training camp. Check boxes. Did he do it right? Did he look like he knew what he was doing? He did it on day one. He did it again on day two. And I dare say the run he had today was even better than day two. Saw the hole, hit the hole, and it was, close to a first down or easily a first down before any defender got near him. So I'll be very interested to see what Pierce can execute when they put the pads on. They get some blocking in front of him, and it can be live fire. And he's actually got to make a decision, and there's actually some physicality to making those decisions. And linemen are getting, pushed and blown up, and can he adjust and see things? But 2 days, 2 boxes checked for Dameon Pierce. Good to see the locker room and Landry Locker in here. Check out his channel. He's got his breakdown from training camp today on his channel already. If you missed his 10:30 last night, go back and check that one out too. Hugo says, I'm pretty vascular. It's genetic. Well, congratulations, Hugo. I don't think I've ever seen a vein in my arm like Danielle Hunter has. I can draw blood if I need to, but, Cody has Davis Mills look out there. I got to see if he looks good in case CJ gets injured. Mills threw what should have been the easiest interception of Jacob Phillips' life today, and he dropped it. I can't tell you that he is for sure, on it or looking good, because I'm watching the other 10 guys when Mills is on there, not as much Mills. Outside of the Jacob Phillips play, I don't feel like Mills has looked horrible by any means. So there's that. Jim asks, are you surprised Andre Johnson will be the final speaker at the Hall of Fame ceremony? I was expecting Peppers or Freeney to talk last. I don't know how they decide that. I would tell you that the fact that they get 10 minutes, I don't believe Andre is going to use all 10 minutes. And I don't believe Gary Kubiak's going to take a whole lot of time. So maybe they felt like, hey, this will be a cool one. It'll be nice and short and sweet and to the point at the end. We'll bring everybody out. Everybody does a big bow, so on like that. Petrie played corner all through college. Only makes sense to move him to nickel. Now, again, I'm not saying move him to nickel. I'm just saying he's played that role a handful of times. Wouldn't be a full-on move, okay? Do you think Kalen Bullock is number 3? No. Eric Murray is number 3. MJ Stewart's number 4, and Kalen Bullock is number 5 on the safety depth chart right now. Beast Mode says, let's go Stoots. Hey, appreciate you. Pawn Shop with the H. I'd be careful. If I do it the wrong way, it's a hook 'em, but Pawn Shop with the H, good to see you. Which players are you keeping an eye on that could be a sneaky pick to make the team? Jake Hansen. I didn't believe Jake Hansen was going to make this team, but I guess Jake Hansen. Team Quateriano could make it. He wouldn't be making like in place of another tight end. But D'Amico went through the tight ends today and didn't mention Tegan Quateriano. He mentioned Brevin Jordan and Cade Stover and Dalton Schultz, but he didn't mention Tegan Quateriano. If he made it, he would make it instead of a different position. Like maybe, if they did something, which I don't believe they're going to do, but if they kept no fullbacks, or they kept, they kept 2 quarterbacks. Like maybe there's an extra tight end or something. No surprise guy yet. No surprise guy yet is what I would say. Why would Harris be dinged up? If he got hurt working out ahead of practice, that's a ding. I say ding. I think sometimes that people think that means they got hurt, getting hit. A ding to me is any sort of injury. Oh, he's dinged up. But, maybe it's tight muscle or something. Jim Davies with the super chat. Jim, we appreciate you. Have a couple bottles of water on me at tomorrow's practice. Jim, I appreciate you. You know what I'm going to do with this? I'm going to buy an energy drink because Landry and I get our little pre-practice report together. We kind of chit-chat about what we want to talk about and what we want to watch and observe. We do that while we're both crushing our energy drinks before practice. So I appreciate you, Jim. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And thank you for the super chat. My energy drink of choice, in case anybody is wondering, is Rise Energy Drink. RYSE. Rise Energy Drinks. They sell them at HEB. They're actually in Walmart now. They're taking over the energy drink world. 200 milligrams of caffeine. So caffeine to the dome, and get ready to lock in for training camp practices. Okay. Blue Boy, good to see you. Good to see you. Who are the starting defensive tackles and how do they look? Let's see if I can do it here. Foloransu Foley Fadukasi. I believe I said his name right. Foloransu Foley Fadukasi is, I believe, going to start. And Foloransho. Okay, so I was missing an H. Foloransho Fadukasi. They call him Foley. Foley Fadukasi is, I believe, going to start for this team because he's the most highly compensated defensive tackle. He's played a lot. He knows the system from having played in New York with the Jets. So I believe he's going to start. The spot next to him is going to be up for grabs. Is it going to be Tim Settle? Is it going to be the veteran Mario Edwards? Is it going to be Kurt Heinisch, who John Harris raved about in Harris's observations from day one? Johnny gets to go watch some of those defensive linemen over on the other side of the field, and he said Heinisch looked really good. And there's a lot of competition for that other starting spot next to what I believe is going to be Foley Fadukasi. What are your thoughts on Tank doing some special teams? I'm not as worried by it as everybody else is. I'm not as worried about it. Football players play football. I mean, Tank got hurt in a football play last year. He was going to try to block. He broke his leg. That happens. It's football. Football players get hurt. When you keep football players from being football players, that's when they also get hurt when they weren't intending to. Or not intending to. It's not the right way, but like if you're too cautious with the guy, you don't get the most out of it, and he doesn't get the most out of the game. Tank said he's ready to go if he needs to play special teams. I believe they'll find guys so they don't need to play Tank on special teams. But if he has to play special teams, he'll be ready. He'll be ready. Alex says, it's my first time going to training camp this coming Wednesday. Super pumped. How does seating work? Should you show up super early if you want a good view? If you want to sit front row, you're going to have to show up super early. Wait it out in the parking lot. I believe they'll let you bring in a bottle of water. Then they'll sell some snacks and some concessions and all that other fun stuff out there. But yeah, if you want a really, really good seat up front, you got to get there super early. If I was sitting on the fan side, I would like to sit in the bleachers up a little bit because it's covered. The sun doesn't hit it regardless of where it is. And you can kind of see the field in front of you, and you can see the field over there as well. So that's what I would tell you about, where to sit and what to know. And I'll try to find out a little bit more information from the Texans and kind of relay it to anybody that might want to, head out to training camp or has tickets to head out to training camp. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you too. Every day is a happy day when the Texans training camp's here. Valeria says, thinking about going to either the game at Green Bay or Minnesota. Any suggestions one way or the other? I go to Green Bay. It's more legendary. The game should be better. I mean, Jordan Love is really, really getting hyped up this year. And I'm interested to see if he can pay off on the hype, if he can live up to the hype. So that's going to be a really fun game. And Green Bay is a solid team. You see the Texans signing another corner. You think Stingley gets extended next year? I do not believe Derek Stingley will get extended early. So I believe he'll need to play 4 seasons before he gets extended. I'm glad you asked the question about will they sign another corner. I don't believe they will. I feel like they've got enough in there, but I did sit down with my friend Will Kunkel and my buddy DJ Bieneme on Kicking It with Kunkel over on Fox 26's YouTube channel. And DJ brought up a really intriguing cornerback idea and a really intriguing signing. He brought it up specifically by name. So check out Kicking It with Kunkel. I'll put the description I'll put the video link in the description of this video Kicking it with Kunkel was a fun time. Will's a fun dude. He's new to town, as of sometime last year, and he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Landry and I chop it up with him a lot. Even though Will, I feel bad for Will. He was talking about Danielle Hunter, and he was like, "Man, Danielle Hunter, he's bricked." And I was like, "Careful! I don't think that means what you think it means." Like, I think he wanted to say he's built like a brick S house. I think that's kind of what he was intimating at. But if you're, if you're bricked or bricked up, that's not what Will meant. And I think he's like, "Oh yeah, he's bricked." And I was like, I don't think that means what you think it means. So be careful. Be careful. Magnificent Merker, football time in Houston. It's football time in Houston, and we're ready to play. Got no time to lose now. Red, white, and blue today. Welcome to the greatest city of all, Houston, Texas. Are you ready for some football? Shout out Clay Walker. Tyler Olson at Valerius. You won't regret going to Green Bay when a couple years ago. It's an amazing place to visit. Museum. The stadium's legit too. There you go. How Green look today? Scruggs or Patterson? Center one. I believe Drew Scruggs is going to be the starter. And how did Green look today? I mean, wasn't watching super close on the drills. Couldn't see a ton from the team stuff. Didn't look leaky on the team stuff, and he just looks different than the interior offensive lineman. He looks like he's more buff than some of those guys, like muscular, whereas like some of those guys are bigger, but it's like kind of like a not a muscular bigger. Like Kenyon Green looks muscular after not really looking muscular. Magnificent says no blocking plays for Tank, please. How's Marcus Harris look? Nothing to report yet, but he's on the short list of when the pads come on type of guy. The risk versus reward for Dell returning kicks is not worth it to me. I mean, he can get hurt on a running play. He can get hurt on a pass to Nico Collins. He can get hurt. I mean, he can get hurt on anything. They're making kickoffs safer but more exciting. Like the kickoff is no more dangerous than running downfield and trying to catch a pass from CJ Stroud. Like you can't put these guys in glass. David, good to see you. I'm sad they don't play that song anymore. They still play it, don't they? They still play it. If they don't play it, by George, I'll sing it live for you. My karaoke song. Jim says, I missed the midnight live chats. They will come back, I promise you. They will come back. Petition to have Cody sing the national anthem at the opening home game. I mean that's Clay Walker's job, isn't it? He always is doing that. Any Henry Toto plays. I mean, it looked okay today. I mean, out there with Azeez Al-Shire and Jake Hansen and some other linebackers. And then you have tackle for loss yesterday. So nothing huge there. Cody, what'd you do with all that money? What money? If I had a bunch of money, I mean, I think maybe there'd be signs. I didn't know what all that money. I don't know. All that money. I don't know what you're doing. What are the Texans going to do with all that money? I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with all that money. Branson wants to know if anybody's going to the Minnesota game. You think anyone rocks the safety Belmetta in season? I want to see Stroud wear it versus Jets. Oh, the safety helmets in season. Oh, the little caps that they wear? No one's going to wear the little safety caps. No. Do they have players come out and interact with fans and stuff at the open practices? So is a couple hours after practice or what? So as guys are leaving the practice field, there's like people kind of line up in the corner of the stands, and you can get autographs and stuff there. It's like up and down the front row of the stands. Some guys will come over and interact with the fans, and it's pretty cool. It's not easy to get the guys because they're trying to get off the field. They're trying to head into the they're going to have a day off after one of those joint practices, right? They got work to do, but you'll have a chance. It's not easy to have a chance, but it's right as practice is ending. Chris, you're wrong. I love that song. Oh, Rick says the money your parents gave you for singing lessons. I took them. It didn't work. Not everybody's a good student. Now, H-Town's Ultimate's asking a great question here. Best chicken wing flavor. So across the board, like so many different places have so many different flavors. I trust a hot chicken wing. I trust just a regular hot chicken wing. But at various places, you've got different and unique and kind of crazy chicken wing flavors. So when I go to Wingstop, I always get Hawaiian because I really like that sweetness. I always get a lemon pepper, and I always get the original hot. When I go to Pluckers, I get spicy lemon pepper with spicy ranch mixed in. Landry taught me that one. It's excellent. We also tried another one the other day. He found out it was like mango yarrow and spicy. Landry, you still in here? It was mango yarrow. Hold on, I'm texting him because I need to know. Mango yarrow and something. But he likes to mix and match. I like their teriyaki is very good. Their Baker's Gold is very good at Pluckers. That's where I go most for wings. And it's not because I think they have the best wings, though they are really damn good. And they're huge now. They're chicken wings. Yes, they're expensive, but you're actually getting your money's worth. Excuse me. You're getting your money's worth at Pluckers these days. So I like spicy lemon pepper. I like spicy lemon pepper with spicy ranch. I like teriyaki. I like their Baker's Gold. I like Dr. Pepper, super sweet. I think that's about it. I mean, I rotate through. And then 87 Wings or Wings 87, I can't remember the name of it. It's a place over in West Alabama, a little hole-in-the-wall place. Awesome wings, like 100 flavors. So I switch it up every time there. I'm trying like spicy teriyaki. I'm trying like garlic lemon pepper. Like they got all sorts of different flavors. Oh, here we go. Landry, it's the mango habanero flavor, which I believe they call mango yarrow, and garlic parmesan. I had that the other day. It's another Landry creation, and it was special. It was special. I loved it. So we may have to just have a Pluckers day. You know, me and Landry go. We talk some Texans football with you. Have a couple of brewskis. You have to have a Pluckers day. I was watching that Lassiter tape, and that man with pads on his true dog. I mean, Tank's excited to see Lassiter out there. He mentioned that. Brand says, please spare me the singing unless I can't hear you over the real music. Devin with the very kind words, number one Texans reporter, number one food reviewer. I got to get you guys a food review. I got to, it's been a while. We'll get you know what, that's what the off days are for. You know, Sunday off day, go get the food review all filmed up and have it ready for you. It's a bummer to have to play in MetLife again. Well, hopefully it won't be freezing cold and it acts like a parking lot out there. They're wearing H-Town blue against the Titans. I heard they're wearing the blues against us. I don't think so. They announced when they're first wearing some of the jerseys. I don't believe they'll burn their extra alternate jersey on the Titans. More concerned with Tank getting blown up on a punt return than anything, but like you say, players play. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about Tank Dell playing special teams. God, I wish Wingstop bring back the lemon and herb wings. What are they? They used to have rolls. They would fresh make dinner rolls at Wingstop. They don't do that anymore. They don't do that anymore, which is annoying. Let's see here. Wingstop garlic parm, lemon pepper. Never been to Pluckers. You'd enjoy it. You'd enjoy it. Rob loves Pluckers. Let's see here. I don't know about Ruben's Discord. I'm working on a Discord of my own, so you guys might enjoy that. Who do you think will be more physical after the catch and run? Nico and Diggs. Nico. Diggs' yak is because he's beat everybody so bad and nobody's catching him. Nico's yak is because he's not afraid to run through somebody. It's very hard to mess up a hot flavored wing. Boy, don't you know it? And my goodness, have some places just absolutely blown it. Does unspit cap roll over increase next season budget? It certainly does. I'll cry real tears if we win the Super Bowl. I mean, you won't be alone, that's for sure, friend. I work at Disney now. Anytime you're in Orlando, let me know and I'll have a free ticket for you. Devin, that is very kind to you. You may see me there in April. No, May. No, yeah, May. Maybe I'll come in May. I gotta miss the peak season if I'm doing that. It'll be the craziest I-10's ever been if the Texans win the Super Bowl in New Orleans. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Cody, my 32nd birthday was last weekend, and I couldn't celebrate in Houston for obvious reasons. How's the city doing as of now? There's still some folks without power and internet. I know there's some trouble with that. There's still some stuff that's got to get repaired, and people who had damage. I think it's tough figuring out who you use and who's fixing your roof and who's fixing the inside if there's messed up. So, it's on its way back. I think the big hope is that it doesn't happen again anytime soon. H-Town's Ultimate says he'll eat 150 wings if the Texans win the Super Bowl. I was sitting there at Pluckers the other day eating wings, and I realized I don't think I can eat a lot of wings. I know I can eat a lot of food of like other types of food. I don't believe I can eat a lot of wings. So I might be out of the wing eating game for like competitive eating. I mean, I'll still go throw down some wings. Wings, sneaky, tasty, but not super bad for you item if you just get like a normal flavor. You get a whole bunch of like sugary flavors and dip it in ranch. You want just like a regular old hot wing and some ranch. You can survive on that and not be eating too bad. Trying to lose a few pounds. Will preseason mostly be 2s and 3s? See in the field, or do you think some stars are getting any reps? Some starters are going to play. I don't know that everyone's going to play, but some guys will play. But you'll mostly see 2s and 3s. Thoughts on the rematch with the Ravens? I think the Texans can pull off the upset this time. A lot of football happens before they play them. Obviously, playing them at home when they've had to be on the short week and travel to you is a big advantage. They've closed the gap a little bit between them and the Ravens. They've closed the gap a little bit, so there's a chance they'll be ready to rock against Baltimore. Function says wings are not good food, in my opinion. Bad chicken covered in vinegar. Well, different strokes for different functions. Best donuts, Southern Made, Shipley, or somewhere else? I mean, for an original hot glazed donut, it's Shipley. For like goofy, fancy, crazy, out-of-the-box flavors, River Oaks Donuts has some of those. Voodoo Donuts has some of those. Parlor Donuts is one of my favorites. Parlor Donuts is really good over in the Heights, over off Yale. If you haven't had Parlor Donuts, check them out. I need to hit. I mean, I've never been. What is Southern Made? I have never been to Southern Made. Am I missing something here? I need to Google this. I've never been to Southern Made. All right, looks like your good old-fashioned traditional donut. I'll check it out. Southern Made is very good, Jim says. All right, let's finish up on this one here. What do you think the strength of the offensive line needs to be in comparison to some of the strengths of the other team's defensive lines this season? You got to be good at tackle. Titus Howard and Laremy Tunsil got to play the majority of the games, and they got to play well. You got to be good at tackle. There's no other conversation piece. You got to be good at tackle. You can't be bad at tackle when you have one of the most expensive tackle duos in football. You got to be good at tackle. That just is a non-negotiable. Got to be good at tackle. Okay? Got to be good at tackle. You'll be good on furniture when you visit my friends at Urban Furniture and Decor. Urban Furniture Decor, luxury, affordability, those two things combine to give you a beautiful, beautiful furniture experience. From the bedroom to the boardroom to the breakfast room to you sitting on your butt in your living room, they've got something for everybody. Sturdy, well-made furniture. Well-made furniture is hard to find these days. Sometimes you'll pay an arm and a leg and the couch breaks a year into it. That's not happening at Urban Furniture. Luxury meets affordability. They specialize in international furniture like from Turkey and Italy, but they've got your traditional and modern stuff as well. Just go into the showroom, 7909 Hillcroft. Check them out. Look at the beautiful showroom, the accent pieces, the beds, the frames, the mattresses. They can do everything for you at Urban Furniture and Decor. Look at the website, urbanfurnituredecor.com. Urbanfurnituredecor.com. It's in the description down below, okay? Urbanfurnituredecor.com. You'll see the incredible prices. The best local prices in town are with my friends at Urban Furniture Decor. So check them out. Working on new merch. People wanted different hats. People wanted stuff like that. So working on that. People who had questions about Texans merchandise, I'm working on getting answers for you on that. People who wanted the cards, the card art is what I'm calling it, I guess. I'm working on that for people as well. So we'll have a bunch of stuff here in the coming weeks. Houston football, you've got some incredible stuff on Houston football to go check out. 2 days of training camp in the books, training camp day 3 tomorrow. Plenty of more stuff to write about as well because Joe Mixon and Danielle Hunter said some incredible things so that I'm going to work through and get through in an article as well. So lots of stuff coming your way. Even on the off day on Sunday, there's no camp, but there is going to be Houston football stuff. There's going to be a video as well, so you don't want to miss out on that. Thumbs up the video, subscribe if you haven't. Appreciate everybody checking in, man. This is fun. Friday afternoon, hanging out, kicking it. Oh, you fantasy football people, I got something for you coming too. So, man, I want the season to get here, but I also know we're going to have so much fun ahead of the season getting here too. So it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I got a lot of stuff for you guys. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Appreciate everybody watching, man. It's so much fun sitting out here on a Friday afternoon, talking about the Houston Texans, talking about training camp, diving deep, telling you about the stars, telling you about the non-stars, the guys that fill out the roster, the guys that may not make the roster. It's fun. I have a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It is always a blast. Go check out Landry's channel, okay? The Locker Room with Landry Locker. Go check out Kicking It with Kunkel. When I end this live stream, I'm going to update the description, and you'll have the Kicking It with Kunkel link in the description, okay? So don't miss that. That's a fun, 35-ish minute. Oh, Kunkel cut it down to 22 minutes. It's a 22-minute conversation with me, Will Kunkel from Fox, and DJ Baname from ESPN. And, of course, the Twitter account, Cody Stoots, for live stuff during practice. It's all good. Thank you, folks. This is my hope for you. This is my charge for you as well. I want you to eat good. I want you to sleep good. And I want you to be good. And we'll talk Texans again soon. It'll be tomorrow after training camp, day 3.